everyone! Based on feedback I received from my last class, I decided to try to utilize videos a bit in this class in order to personalize things a bit more and deliver content in a more dynamic way than just reading and writing, which is what we spend a lot of time doing in this class. So let me know what you think. If you like this, we'll try to do more. If you don't, okay. Alright, what I wanted to share with you were some personal examples that will help illustrate the difference between strategically based and non-strategically based training and development initiatives. Some of you wrote about this week in your conferences, but let's start with the latter right now and we'll talk about non-strategically based training and development initiatives. This really tends to be the standard in many organizations. Training is done without a direct connection to the organization's mission, vision, strategy. It's done because somebody has a great idea and they put it into practice. A number of years ago, I worked for a very successful and dynamic organization in Las Vegas, and this company was led by a very charismatic leader who was informed on the latest trends in business and training and development through reading, involvement in professional networks, and through his contact with people, other leaders in the region and beyond. Under his leadership, I implemented a number of new programs that were very exciting and also very well received by the organization and very good skill builders for me. I learned a lot through doing it. Despite these upsides, though, none of the programs lasted beyond his tenure. Why is that? It's because they weren't tied to the strategy. As a matter of fact, there really was no strategic plan. I asked for the strategic plan and I was told there wasn't one. And when I asked why, I was told, well, competitors might get their hands on it and steal the strategy. Let me tell you about one of the programs that bit the dust quickly. It was e-learning. This was in the late 90s, early 2000s, and e-learning was a relatively new phenomenon then. It was definitely not routine in the Las Vegas area, and the president came to me and said, "Kim, I want e-learning, and I want it now." When I asked him why he was interested in pursuing this and what he wanted to accomplish with it, he said he wanted to be the first president on the block to have it. So, like a good training and development leader, I went out and researched the topic and looked at and interviewed vendors and returned to him with a proposal to try out e-learning first for a year before we invested in it really, really heavily. He initially balked at that idea, but then agreed, and we went about bringing e-learning to the Strip in Las Vegas, and we made it available to everyone. We included a test of basic computer literacy for you to be able to enroll in the program, and some basic computer training for people who didn't pass that basic test. We put some of our required offerings in our leadership development program into the e-learning platform, and we purchased a wide variety of courses. We also implemented policies to support the initiative and started with a huge bang. Lots of publicity, and employees were thrilled. They were as excited as the president was to get this there. Managers were excited about it, but the program failed. It failed because it wasn't tied to the organization's strategy. The initiative, including the training delivered online, wasn't tied to core or required skills. There were no rewards for participating in the program and no consequences for not doing so. So the result was, after a year, out of 5,000 employees, not a single employee completed one course. This was striking considering that most of our employees had enrolled in the program. So let me give you another example, because not every organization functions like this. This is an example of an initiative that was strategically based. In the early 1990s, I worked for a large national nonprofit with locations throughout the United States. On the first day on the job, I received a memo, remember memos, from the president directing me to create a multi-level management and leadership development program. I was excited about it. It was something I had never done before. So when I met with my boss, the chief operating officer, to discuss the project and talk to him about my ideas, I was raring to go. And he settled me down and told me that while he was sure I could create wonderful programs on my own, he wanted this to be a strategic initiative, both a collaborative event and a strategic one. He said that the strategic plan had just been updated and was going to be shared via presentations, meetings, and videos with every single employee across the country over the next few months. And he asked me to develop a plan and propose it to him, which I did, for creating these programs and tying it to the strategic plan launch. So I proposed that we conduct a national needs assessment, visiting each of our locations around the country and meeting with a cross-section of employees, managers, frontline supervisors, frontline employees, and ask them a series of questions like this. For each role that we're going to develop, new supervisors, experienced supervisors, managers, and directors, in light of the strategic objectives of the organization and the realities of their world, what knowledge, skills, and abilities were needed for the people in each role in order to realize the strategic objectives and meet the needs of the local organization. The results of these focus groups would be analyzed and presented to a group of junior leaders who would cull from the data the most important topics to be taught to each of the groups. And from there, the curriculum would be built using content experts paired with instructional designers and delivered across the country by leaders at the individual locations. This proposal was more comprehensive than this, but you get the picture here. The COO liked the plan and approved it, and it was used to create a very comprehensive curriculum that's in place today. It's been modified and updated to meet the changing strategic needs of the organization, but it's still there. And like the other initiatives I put into place in this organization, 360 assessment, succession planning, they're still growing strong. And so is the organization. And that's because they're very strategically focused. So today, it's still the nation's largest nonprofit leader of mental health and mental retardation services, and it is really due to strong leadership and an outstanding training and development function that's continued beyond my tenure.